Everybody, welcome to Joe Esports versus Velocity. Pretty hype. Pog. We have Joe on the blue side, Velocity on the red side this game. Joe being one of the teams that's actually played so far. Won their first game 28-4 actually. It's a pretty big stomp for them. A Velocity, a team with a lot of hype coming in for this tournament. A lot of people I know that have scrimmed, you know, the A side of the group. Think Velocity is a really strong team, so we got a pretty hype matchup here. We'll take a quick look at the bans. We have Caitlyn, who's been very high present so far in this tournament. I think almost a little bit over 50% present so far in the games that have happened. And Zoe and Rek'Sai, the other bans, just taking out some of the pocket picks from the other side. And for Velocity, the Trundle and Darius ban. And they don't want to counter pick in top lane. They don't want to leave the Trundle up, potentially wanting to play some tanks. And the Vlad ban, also one we've seen a lot. Oh, the first pick Maokai. Now, one thing to note, guys, the draft order will be a little bit wonky here because they did pro draft prior to the game. So one thing to note is they're probably going to be picking their champions. So we don't have as much insight into what was picked into what, but we'll talk you through it anyways. Now, the Trundle ban makes sense. You know, anytime you want to pick Sejuani, Trundle's the #1 jungler you want to remove, right? Because what does Trundle do? He ruins tanks. What does Sejuani do? She's a big, fat tank jungler. No, I'm not talking about the one riding. I'm talking about the boar. A lot of good engage from Velocity here, too, with the Kled and the Sejuani together. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have a Maokai set jungle and a Yasuo mid. A lot of in-your-face. Good setup between the set and the Yasuo. Maokai Q knockup, also super good. And the Zillion locked in for the mid lane there. Very nice. That helps counter a lot of this engage that's going to come out of Joe Esports. You know, when they're trying to go in all in with this comp, the Zillion's a really good pick to kind of nullify that. We'll wait to see what the next ban is from Velocity. And like we said, they did pro draft before this, so the picks are a little bit out of order. So don't be surprised as to why someone's picking into something else. Gangplank ban. Little LeBlanc ban. Someone's a good mid laner here. All right. Rumble ban and the TF ban. Several mid lane bans here from Joe Esports. The Jhin picked up there. Jhin, very good right now. One of the reasons Jhin's become much better is, you know, in light of recent buffs and item changes. Also, Caitlyn has become very meta, and a lot of these champions like Ashe and Jhin are very good into Caitlyn. They're not as pushed in, not as punished. Of course, Caitlyn banned in this game, and we're going to have the Jhin Tom on this side. So, relying heavily on the damage from Jhin for Velocity. They really need Jhin to be ahead this game. They don't have a lot of points of consistent damage. Zillion can pop you, but there's several seconds between his rotations, but you have a Zillion, you have a Tom Kench. Theoretically, your Jhin should never die. And on the other side, it's pick. You've got Ashe, you've got Rakan, you have a ton of setup for this Yasuo also. It should be easy to land knockups with the Maokai ult, the set going in. They have several points of threat. One thing to note is this early game is going to be extremely important on the bot side of the map. Ashe Rakan normally can pressure lanes a little bit. There's always the threat of the engage, and if Ashe gets onto you early with her slows, she's able to chase you down in the lane and chunk you out. But on the other side, Jhin, very oppressive, can push the lane. One thing, Velocity's comp here, what's very important is they have to be the first one to objectives around Dragon, right? Because when you have a champion like Zillion, who wants to set up a zone of control, for instance, an exit of your jungle to a dragon, it's very important that you're there first, right? It's not as easy as engaging with an Ashe arrow and retaking, you know, the river. You have to be there first. You want them to have to come into you. You know, that's what Zillion wants. That's what Tom wants, things like that. The Kled can be a little bit confusing in this comp because Kled's goal is going to be kind of different than the other champions. But there's a thought behind, well, maybe if Kled goes in and creates a bunch of space, it'll be less chance for this Rakan to get to my backline. Or if he does get to my backline, Ashe and them are having to deal with the Kled, and they're not able to come kill my one carry I have here. And we've all played solo queue. We've seen a Kled get out of control, and he just starts solo killing your Maokai top 100 times, and the game ends then because he's just ulting down river and killing your team. And on the flip side, we have the Yasuo. So far in our tournament, Yasuo has not had super high presence, and when he has had presence, it has not been great. I believe we had a 310 Yasuo last night, which he got to the 10 deaths, got to the power spike, but wasn't quite able to turn it into a win. But a ton of setup here. The set, great setup. Rakan, the Maokai even with the Q, great setup. And a lot of opportunity for him to excel here. Zilean can be annoying in lane, but he's also very hard to hit with bombs because Yasuo is so mobile and moving around in the lane. Really excited to see this one. We have not ourselves scrimmed Joe Esports. We were going to, time constraints, stuff like that. Yes, thank you, Windows. But we have scrim Velocity, and Velocity's been one of the better scrim partners we have. Super great group of guys. Also, super nice. Helped with the tournament a ton. Have been just super good about like timing, getting things scheduled, stuff like that. And they're a top tier team. And looking at Group A right now, I think it's a bit of a mess because I think we have maybe even 6 teams that you potentially could say could get out of that group, right? So we're loading in spectator delay, obviously, everybody, to give competitive integrity. We don't want, not that we think anybody would, but just in case, we don't want any teams to be able to see what's going on. And the 3 minutes gives you just enough time for where wards are, things like that, to time out. So as we load into game here, when the timer expires, we'll have a brief break for broadcast and a chance to thank our sponsors, which is Everything LCS. Obviously, I am one of the co-hosts on there, so it feels a bit weird plugging myself. But Everything LCS is an LCS podcast every Tuesday at 8:30. We go through the weekly things that have happened, any games, what to look forward to. We're getting near playoffs, so a lot of good content there. If you're interested in LCS, if you're a North American fan, feel free to tune in. It's at twitch.tv, oh hi Vegas, same as you are right now watching. And yep, we are getting ready to load in, folks. We're going to throw it over to a video real fast, and then we'll be in game. All right, we're just waiting for the game to get picked up there. There we go. Do have Velocity on the red side, Joe Esports on the blue side. Take a look at these level ones. Looks like Joe's going to ball up his 5, going towards this bottom side right here. Velocity going to fan out. Take a look and see if they're getting invaded. This makes sense. Joe Esports does have the Rakan. They have the Ashe. They have the ability to chase you down at level 1. Meanwhile, Velocity wants to avoid any kind of engagement level 1, right? Your Tom's not strong. Your Zilean's not double bombing anybody. This is the time where you want to hide away. The only issue here is you see there's 2 wards placed from Velocity on the top side of the river. Those are going to time out more than likely before the jungler gets there. And they don't have any knowledge that Joe's went in here. Now, one important thing is Joe did not capitalize on placing a ward at the blue buff to track, when Sejuani gets there. They're going to bail out early to make sure they get back to their lanes. They're safe. They know that they're also not getting invaded through the bot side. Just going to confirm all these bushes are clear. Looks good. Sejuani going to be starting top side. Just means she'll be pathing towards bot in the beginning. Maokai, you better get top lane as fast as you can. Believe. Let's see what path. Yeah, Maokai's safe path. He's fine. Looking at the lanes, you expect the pressure's going to come towards bot lane for Velocity first. They're pathing their Sejuani towards bot. She's starting on the red buff here just to be safe, making sure no invade, catches her or anything like that. Mid lane, Yasuo should have a little bit of the early push. It's not easy for Zilean, at level 1, level 2 to easily shove this wave in. So Yasuo should have the push in. After a couple levels, Zilean will start to shove that very easily. It's like Velocity getting the shove here first in bot lane. No surprise, and you know, they did not have to leash. They started in lane, but not really a threat here. Well, a little bit of trading in the top lane at level 1. Nothing much going to come from that. Now the Jhin Tom does not have an insane level 2. You know, you don't expect them to be able to make a big play onto the Ashrikon at level 2. Set slightly faster on his clear right now. No surprise, Sejuani needs a little bit of time in the jungle. Good job by Yasuo roaming down a little bit early here, getting a ward in the river just in case when Sejuani finishes her clear up and she wants to path towards mid, he'll see it. Set also going to walk into the enemy jungle there. He's going to spot out. The race are gone and try and path through top here. This is a good timing because you can't get the scuttle right now. There's not much for the jungle to do unless he's invading, but he knows Sejuani started top side, so there's not really anywhere good for him to go. So good gank here coming out. Second to get the knockback. Nice. Flash forced. Good job by Large Italian. Meanwhile, more trading in the mid lane. And that's very important because you're still on top side right now. You know your bot side theoretically should be pushing. There's not a ton of threat from this Sejuani right now. And if you can set up this Maokai to where you don't have to worry about him later in the game, if he gets a slight gold lead, it makes it that much harder to have a split bush threat. Bot lane playing safe here. They know they're the weak side. Sejuani going to be clearing that scuttle, but is on a ward, so it's spotted out there. Pinging in the jungle. Sejuani has already cleared that, so they have an idea that she is bot side. If Set did walk through the top side here, he knows that she's not clearing all that. Those camps are gone. One good thing here, though, is a flash blown on top lane, but Sejuani was able to power farm to that. You know, no kill came from it. Set theoretically still is the aggressor in the lane, so should be able to safe farm against Maokai with no real issue here. And Sejuani already has a slight level lead. You know, level 4 first before the set, and level 6 is incredibly important for this Sejuani. She's really not going to have a lot of action in the game until she reaches that level 6. And for her to be able to get level 4 base first and be back out on the map clearing is huge for her. No surprise here, a ton of pressure onto the Zilean. Bot lane, just a little bit of a farm fest. That farm should get evened up though as it comes back into Ash, or pretty close to it. Sejuani power farming, and Kled doing a good job. Got his flash blown, but he knows Set invested some time into that, and he's still the aggressor against the Maokai, so he's still maintaining a farm lead. Sejuani poking around the mid lane there. It's like the gank's gonna happen. Yasuo does land the Q, but Sejuani lands the Q here, does get the W off, looking to get the stacks. Great win wall there, blocks the first bomb, but there's the stun. A bomb comes off from Zilean. Flash forced onto the Yasuo. Support is here from the jungle. Hey, if you're seeing any lag, guys, I'm not showing any drop frames or anything like that, so let me know. It is 1080p, so if your internet normally can't do that, it might be need to drop the quality. Oh, a little bit of an engagement in the river here. We do get the teleport in early. Quick engage. Tomkins going very low, but in comes the Kled. Kled reaping him back. Sejuani trying to stay in this fight, but very low. The Zilean loading bombs out, but they're extremely low now. Great flash engage from the Rakan. Flash out from the Zilean. Jhin trying to deal damage as they're kiting out. Ash still full HP. And that's going to be it. A quick 2-for-0 for Joe Esports. Yeah, if you're getting any lag, guys, I do recommend dropping the quality because it is 1080p, 60 FPS. So if your internet doesn't normally stream at that, or you don't normally watch videos at that, it defaults to it. So it can cause lag. Oh, we also taking a little bit of a tower shot there. Not a great situation for Velocity early here. No dragon costed from it, though. So just the 2 kills. One onto the Set and one onto the Ash. Obviously, the Ash you don't want to give any kills to. One of the primary damage dealers for this comp. Take a quick reset here. There was both teleports from the top laners. Teleport from Zilean back to mid lane also. Pushing into the jungle, getting a little bit of pressure there. Zilean is starting to get items, so the wave cleared mid lane will start to get better for Zilean. He's going to start to have a little bit more pressure there. See the difference in bot player builds. Jhin getting the BF, the Vamp Scepter for the Ash. Slight EXP lead for the Maokai here. Kled does even it up. Sejuani getting pretty close to the level 6. will be online for ganks pretty soon. Large Italian just now getting level 5. Sejuani gonna go clear the top side of her jungle. Looks like a bit of a roll mid lane. We've got Rakan and Set mid lane. There is no flash on this Zillion. They are gonna get the knockup. Sejuani is here to try and stop any aggression. Doesn't look like anything's gonna come from it. A little bit of safety here. Zillion does have the speed up, does have his ult online now, so it's a little bit easier. Can avoid some of these ganks despite not having flash. He's hard to bring down. Sejuani looking mid again. Still not 6, but there is no flash onto this Yasuo. Looks like Sejuani's going to go anyways. Gets the Q in, gets the W. Not quite able to get the stun onto him. Forced to back off, and more trading in top lane. Nice pulling Kled in the minions there, though, so taking a little bit of minion damage trying to do that. Bot lane has opened up a slight CS lead despite the kill on Ashe. Good job for the Kled there. We're sitting at a little over a 1k gold lead. Nothing insane, but, you know, definitely not the spot you want to be in. I will say that if you're Velocity, you're kind of okay right now. You're saying, okay, I've got the Sejuani, I've got the Zillion, you know, we're getting towards where we're strong. We weren't strong earlier when we took that fight. You know, we weren't the team that should have been fighting there. We need to get Sejuani to 6, and Zillion, you know, now has ult. You know, he's in a much better place. A little bit concerning on the CS mid. He is going to collect some of this, but as we talked about earlier, as Zillion gets more items, he's able to wave clear a little bit easier there. Sejuani still not 6. Kind of surprising because I think the gank mid pulled her away from doing her red side jungle, and it's kept her from getting that ever important level 6, and Set has now actually rubber banded back past her. He is level 6 now. Oh, dangerous for the Kled. Gonna be an engagement. Kled does get the remount here. Maokai going under the tower. The mount's gonna come off. Set looking to die perhaps, but not quite gonna happen. Maokai forced to back out. Took a couple of tower shots there. It's getting kind of dangerous, and they're saying not worth. Kled still got that flash. Meanwhile, Sejuani hovering around that top lane a little bit. Still not level 6. You know, some of these ganks that are happening, she's being pulled over, trying to, you know, stop a dive, make sure nothing happens to her lane and things. Pinging out the dragon. It's like Velocity's wanting to fight around that dragon now. Sejuani is level 6. I think there might be a little bit of a contest in river here. Sejuani going to be forced to back off for this. Kled's pretty low. Does not have them out. Forced to use ult here. Not great, but Maokai is Maokai is for this fight. Set's gonna try and go in. They need the remount on Kled. Not gonna get. Flashes out. Kled's so low. Sejuani doesn't have any damage. She's gonna get chased down by the Set here. Oh! Is she gonna get away? Sejuani escapes. Yasuo is on the top side looking, but not quite gonna get it. Forced to back off. Ashe arrow comes flying up, but not going to snipe Sejuani in the jungle there, but disaster for the Kled again. You know, Sejuani gets caught in the river there, and Kled's kind of forced to try and help his jungler. Now this Maokai in a great position. Set very strong right now. Ult onto the Zillion in mid. He does have ult. They do W on Rakan in, but that's just a little bit of harass. Good job by Zillion not popping it. We hear the Kled ult coming mid, but they've already backed off the play. With some question marks there, but that's okay. You know, maybe thinking they were going to commit harder. Good job by Zillion not throwing the ult preemptively, though. Not, you know, using the ult before he knew he needed it. Now he's going to have that ult if they force a fight here. And Kled has rolled down. You know, he doesn't have his ult, but they are going to be 5 strong here. It is just 2, though, around the Dragon Pit now, so going to have to back off a little bit. Entire team arriving now. There is no Sejuani ult here. There is no Sejuani ult. There is no Kled ult for this fight. Maokai hasn't quite got to that wave yet, so if you're Velocity, you have to think about your timing now. You have to think about the longer you wait around, the worse it is. Looks like they're just going to call the playoff. Kled going back top does have teleport. Bot lane does have a nice CS lead, but it's a little bit countered by the fact that Yasuo has such a CS lead in mid. Really good so far from Joe Esports. Pressuring these early leads and working together to take the top out of the game. Shout out to Saz in the chat. Twitch Prime, 3-month subscriber. This is never what you want to see. You never want to see your Kled getting out traded by the Maokai in top lane. That's not good. Set bot lane. Looks like just walking through. Velocity's bot lane spots it out. Backs off a little bit there. Kled does have teleport. Going to be forced into backing because he's low. Sejuani, whoa! Dodges the Ashe ult. Rakan misses the W. A little bit of time wasted down here. Set's been around looking, is on vision right now. But this Maokai, split push Maokai, by the way. That's 2 plates down in top lane. Oh, looks like we're gonna get the immediate teleport in from Maokai. Set does get Sejuani ulted, but does grab it to go to the back. A lot of damage here. The Ashe hasn't started hitting yet, but the extremely low on the Jhin does get ulted by the Zilean. Zilean not able to double bomb anybody. Jhin coming back to life, kiting back out of the fight. The Maokai's low, but Yasuo is here, and he's full HP. Kled not gonna be able to get the passive off. Jhin trying so hard to deal damage here, but there is so much tankiness on that Maokai, and that's gonna be another 1 fight for Joe Esports. They're gonna get rewarded with this Infernal Dragon. Oh, Jhin ult. Trying to be as annoying as possible here. No snipe. Well, it was a good effort, but Joe Esports very coordinated there. You know, immediately calling the TP in the dragon, saying, we're not even going to let you get this to a 50-50. We're going to pull the trigger immediately on you. We know how strong our Maokai is. This is a 3-0-3 Maokai. And just to point out, Vorlax in week 1, or in his first game of week 1, went 10-0-9 on GP, and he is now 3-0-3 on Maokai. Insane performance so far from him as a top laner to start this season. Joe Esports has only died 4 times total in the tournament so far. Pretty insane also. But we'll see if Velocity can claw back. You know, they do have that ever annoying Zilean. We've seen TSM do this time and time again. You know, stall a game out until the gold doesn't matter because you have a Zilean and it's almost impossible to get picks on you. The Catalyst is finished now. Sejuani will ramp up. The real worry here is the Kled. Because you need Kled to be a split push presence against this Maokai. You know, you want him to be able to threaten, you know, so, oh, Ashe ult onto the Jhin immediately. Rakan is here. Jhin, what are you doing, baby? Jhin going down. Boom, boom, Jeff with the kill. 3-0-3 on the Ashe. Tom gets back. He's all alone. Uh-oh, Yasuo. A little bit of time there. The wind wall's still up, though, so you have to be careful. He does see the Sejuani. Look at the trading. He knows Sejuani is there. Kled coming in also. Nice ult onto the Yasuo, but he's got the cleanse and gets out. Kled is onto the Rakan there. The ult onto the Zilean to save himself. Rakan trying to dash away. Does get stunned, but he's so far from danger now. Tom shows up mid, but there is no way you get onto this Rakan, and he gets out. And, you know, congratulations level up from the Zilean. Split push Maokai doing his best. There is no ult anymore on the Zileans. Now has to worry about this Yasuo's aggression. Kled returns top to what used to be his home, only to find it in rubble. The Fire Nation's here. It's Maokai, and he's going for the 1v1 on this Kled. This is not where you want to be if you're Velocity. Maokai is walking down Kled in the lane. While mid trying to make another play onto this Yasuo. Rakan preemptively ults. He's going. There's no ult on this Zilean. The flash is down. The stopwatch is down. Zilean trying to walk it out. A good eat there by the Tom Kinch. Barely gets the Zilean out of there. Sejuani shows up mid, trying to just provide some pressure and let Zilean safely base. Meanwhile, top lane, Kled gets out. That is also during all of that insanity going on, Set does grab the Rift Herald. So continuing to pressure to up the tempo of the game. Joe Esports extremely good. Tom left alone in mid lane to defend for himself. Jhin trying to farm up there. Let's get that score back up. Jhin is trying to farm up his bot lane. He's trying to get the items. You know he has to be the carry. There's realistically only one threat right now for Velocity, and that is the Jhin. Zilean's not at a point yet where he's going to deal a large amount of damage. Kled is pretty far behind, and Tom and Sejuani are supports, essentially. You know, Sejuani's going to try and catch an ult on somebody that they can burst, but she herself is not going to, and Tom exists just to protect the Jhin. See what can happen here. Ashe already done with Blade of the Rune King. Phantom Dancer finished for the Yasuo. Sunfire already onto the Maokai, and a Bramble Vest. A level lead from the set, 9-8 now. Kled is getting a little bit of time to farm top here. Maokai's coming back. Little bit of spam there from the Tom, in high spirits at least. And like we said, even if you do drop a game now, you know, it's a 5-week season. You know, even if you're 0-2, you know, the top 3 teams in the group make playoffs. So there's no reason to think you can't pick up some wins, you know, against other teams in your group, you know, snag that third, second spot in playoffs, you know. I think most tournaments have clear favorites in groups, but so far Group A, it's a mess. You know, I think Velocity was where a lot of people thought was one of the best teams. Joe Esports shows up as being a really good team. We still yet to see AED play. Very exciting. And if I didn't say your team's name, I'm sorry. You're also very good. I believe in you too. Here, Jin does have the finished boots. 4 around bot here. Sejuani's not really in position to do anything here. Yasuo roaming down. Kled trying desperately to finish an item at this point. He has no chance of fighting this Maokai right now. Oh no, you just watch these trades here. It's just complete on fun. Meanwhile, an engagement in the bot lane. Rakan goes in. A good eat right there. Gets the Sejuani out. Jin kiting back, dealing some damage. Yasuo does land a knockup, but not going in. That was Rakan ult and the Ashe ult there. They do still have ults on everyone from Velocity. So if there was a chance of doing something, this is it. The issue is, there's no way Kled can TP in right now. He's going to have to try and base to get over to this fight. Dragon is up. A lot of pressure on this top lane. I don't like it. Yeah, it's a free dragon. It is just a Cloud Drake. It's not the worst thing ever. If you think you can't win the fight, maybe don't go for it there. Let's pop up those objective timers for everybody. So we can all track the dragons. It's going to be the Ocean Soul this game. Tom Kent saying, I'm out of here. Get in. They're going to drop the rift on bot side. Just try and get that. Sejuani, not sure this is where she wants to be. Backing off there. Kled does finish the Titanic now. Yeah, Velocity not in a great spot here. Forced into the full wave clear mode. They don't let the rift get the second charge. That's good. Ashe extremely strong right now, but Jin has good farm this game, okay? And there is a situation where Jin, you know, they get a good fight, they have a ton of CC where Jin could pop off. The issue is there's so much dive from Joe Esports, you know, the Set, the Maokai, the Rakan, the Yasuo. It's almost impossible on Jin, who has no escapes, to stay clean during a fight. Even if you get Zillion ulted, you're coming back up right where you died. Set level 10 now. Just doing a little bit of clearing, a little bit of lull in the game here. Khan getting some deep vision into that blue side. They're prepping for if this Baron spawns, if they're in a position to fight for it. Good job using the 1-3-1 right now too. Yasuo in the bot lane. There's not really anyone right now who can safely lane against this Yasuo. You can send the Zillion. He does have TP into the wave clear, but the longer he goes in that lane trying to push it out, the riskier it is for him. Sorry, I had to get some coffee. Try and keep my energy up for you in chat. We do have 3 minutes on the dragon. Kind of weird to see Joe Esports kind of just around the river here. Maybe know that blue buff's not trying to harass. Just get some vision. Yeah, they are all AD, but one thing that a lot of people miss in this, and this is good for if you're an aspiring player, stuff like that, only realistically Sejuani and Tom can stack armor, right? And both of those champions are low econ. Like, they're not going to get primary. Oh, Rakan going in here, actually. Pretty good engagement. Sejuani does get to the back line. She is pushing the Ashe off. Nice bombs right there out of the Zillion. They are forcing the TP here out of the Maokai. Ashe ult to re-engage, but it does hit Tom. Gets a 3-man pull in from the Set. Set not able to ult yet. A lot of damage. Jin being able to ult from the back line here. They're forced to disengage. Joe Esports very low. So that's a one fight from Velocity. You know, they force a TP there. They get a lot of ults out, and they get to stall more. Both sums off of the Yasuo. Just see what can happen afterwards. Can Velocity get some vision out? Retake some of this map. And like you said, there is, the longer they stall, Zillion does deal damage late game. He does deal a lot of damage. And, you know, Jin can also. He can deal a lot of damage. And although Sejuani and Tom right now, though the enemy team is all AD, they were not far enough into the game yet where they can realistically have armor, because jungle and support are so low econ that, you know, they realistically can't ever get to damage on him. Well, you don't. You can't kill the Maokai. You have to reach a point to where you're killing everyone else and hoping that Maokai gets killed at the end of the fight. Well, you have Tahm Kench, Zilean. Theoretically, your team should be peeling also. I think if a fight exists where Maokai is walking right onto Jhin, you've probably already lost the fight. Maokai is splitting here. Kled in not a great position. He's not really able to trade with this. Rakan is in the bot lane here looking, but a couple tower shots. Maokai doesn't really care. Set's also in the bot lane here. They are in a 3v1 mid lane as Ashe rotates down to right. Ocean is in 45 seconds. They're going to snap an engagement onto the Jhin here, who pops the cleanse early. Is going to get blown up. The Zilean ult does hit him, but Zillion's forced to flash out. Sejuani's out too. Jhin is waking up in the middle of the enemy team, trying to kite out here. Yasuo dealing so much damage. The ult from Set here. Sejuani also extremely low and going down. Kled trying to do what he can to get that Set, but Set just barely gets out. Knock up from Yasuo. That is the triple kill, and Tahm is left alone. Risky business, rotating through the jungle right there for Jhin. Unfortunate. 11-0 right now. Very clean from Joe Esports. Rotating back to the dragon right on spawn. And that's the risk. You know, you look at the vision, you know, in the bot side jungle there. There's so much vision from Joe Esports. It's so easy for them to know exactly where Velocity is rotating and be there. Very uphill battle if Velocity were be able to do anything in this game. Joe Esports in complete control right now. Very clean game from them. Very good objective control. Like we might have a little bit of a fight around here. They do not know the Set is in there. They're going to force an engage onto the Set, but we've all played against Set. We know what happens when you beat up Set. Beautiful knockup from the Rakan. That's a 3-man ult from Yasuo. Ult over onto the side, onto the Kled. They are chasing on the Tahm. Fight is on two fronts right now. Set is low, but Ashe is clean, dealing as much damage as she needs. That's going to be the rundown. The Zilean ult out. Sejuani stuck alone in the front here. Meanwhile, in the back line, the Maokai unstoppable with the Rakan running down the team. There's nothing to be done here. There's no more Zilean ult. There's no flashes. The Kled does not have his passive. Ashe is joining the fight. There's the slow. Jhin does get a kill back onto the Rakan, but it's a consolation prize as the fight is lost. A 2-for-1 for Joe Esports. Joe Esports just got to retreat to the Baron. Complete control. They know Velocity can't leave the base and realistically fight right now. They don't have summons. They don't have ultimates. Easily able to DPS this down, and good guy Rakan giving up a kill just to make sure it wasn't a perfect game. And that's going to be the base for them to reset. Joe Esports in complete control of this game. And based on how they've played around other objectives in this game and how good of vision control they've had throughout the game, you expect this Baron to be devastating, if not game-ending, for Velocity. If I'm not mistaken, still deathless for the top lane in the tournament. Vortex has not died in either of his games. Padding the Maokai stats for us. And Mommy Bear doing their part to bring Yasuo back to a 50% win rate in the AED Invitational. Thank you. Not a good position to be in here. The Rakan is fearless right now to engage. The Ashe ult does go wide, but they are totally fine with that. They have a litany of engagement tools. Maokai top lane against Jhin. This is the nightmare. Jhin does nothing. I think Tahm almost did more with that Q there. He's going to pop the ult while they're pushing bot lane. Set is rotating to bot, so Maokai ult. A little bit of a question mark there, but they're in such a position that it's not really a big deal. They don't really need the Maokai ult at this point. As long as they have the Rakan engaged, they're fine. Rakan stepping up there, making sure that they can hit the tower. Passive is gone from the Kled. And unfortunately, with these baroned up minions, it's next to impossible for Velocity to clear. Trying to push up here, but Maokai is going to be escorting the minions mid. A good harass here. 2 cannons going to work on that tower. Velocity hasn't lost any base towers yet. A lot of free damage on his Kled, and there's the Rakan going in. Does use the stopwatch there, but they're going to push in. Nice face breaker to pull in the Sejuani. He does get eaten by the Tom pushback, but so low now. It's so tough to defend this tower now. Tom walking up, trying to get some harass. The mid tower does go down during this. Maokai threatening an inhibitor. Bot goes down too. They're forced to send the Jhin over there. The exhaust does come out onto the Yasuo, but they just back out. They're just going to take the inhibitors here. Playing it slow, making sure they can get the win. Rotate top lane. The wave is waiting outside the tower. Sejuani looking flash onto the Ash there, trying to get healed, but Sej is able to flash over the wall. Rakan does miss the initial knockup. Not able to get Rakan with the taunt. Any fight going on right now. Yasuo gets a nice knock up there. A lot of damage on the Rakan, but he's able to back out. Right now it is a 1-for-0 for Joe Esports. Maokai is so tanky, living under double Nexus turrets. Yasuo ults into the back lane, not able to get to the Jhin as he gets to the fountain. Maokai still taking towers. He's very low. Yasuo doesn't have ult anymore. Getting chased down here. They're forced to back out a little bit as Yasuo does go down. Oh my, nice shot there from the Jhin. He picks up another kill onto the support. Now Ash, flashless, stuck in the base, set, forced to walk away, not able to get anything there. And that's a couple shutdowns there for Velocity. That is a fast Tom Kinch. This is a dragon up. This is sole point right here. Velocity may be able to push out and get this. Still over a 10k lead. A little bit of an overstep there, but they did get 2 inhibitors, so Joe Esports still very much in control. But looks like we're going to have another fight. The Zilean ult is back up. The Jhin is here. Flash over immediately onto the Jhin, trying to ult him, get him away from the Zilean as fast as they can. Does get eaten by Tom Kinch. There is the Zilean ult on him, but they're doing a great job waiting it out, waiting for it to run out before they kill him. The set immediate. They can't kill the Maokai. Now that Jhin is dead, they have no one who can kill this Maokai. There's no Zilean ult here. There's nothing left to kill him. Look at the pigs coming out. That's the biggest tree I've ever seen. Finally, set smashing down the Sejuani, and that's going to be the soul. There's minions pouring into the base right now. This Maokai is unkillable. Jhin has a Dirk now, but beautiful play in that fight from Set. First Maokai knocking the Jhin away, and then Set ulting him away, forcing him to get ulted when he's extremely low, and then immediately changing targets and making sure they're not bursting down the Jhin during the Zilean ult duration, so that they can immediately kill him when he's low when it comes out. Beautiful job. Now map in very bad position here for Velocity as Joe Esports can make their way to the top. That tower's already dead. The Jhin immediately engaged on him, popped. The tower's going low. Just the Nexus remaining. Joe Esports harassing them in the fountain. This should be a pretty free cleanup. Velocity trying to do their last-ditch effort to fight here. Sejuani gets Zilean ult, but in the meantime, the Nexus goes down. Congratulations to Joe Esports on a 2-0 start as they down Velocity 18-4. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in for game one. We're going to take a brief break. We'll be back live at 9:45 for our second game of the night, so be sure to be here. Congratulations again to Joe Esports on the 2-0 start. Thank you, guys.